All right, welcome on today's edition of our show. It's always nice to have you join us, like we always say. This is Political Spectrum coming to you live from Uyo, the state's capital. And I remain yours sincerely, Onumese Ehinoma Olusegun. As always, today's edition also promises to be exciting and engaging as usual. Our conversations continue on everyday political and economic developments in Nigeria. Conversations on policy and policy actions of government with immediate reactions by citizens, big businesses, institutions, and the civil society, making government more accountable to its people. Now, first, on President Bola Tinubu's administration's calendar, today is October the 12th, Thursday, 2023. And it marks exactly 137 days of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in office as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This is now exactly 4 months and 17 days as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. So much is expected of our President. So much is expected of our President. All right, moving quick into some of the developments of today so that we don't waste too much time. It's been trending for a while. Peter Obi tells Tinubu to disclose his age, reintroduce himself to Nigerians. But there's a twist at this point. An Igbo group counters Obi by some statement. All that we'll find out. Now, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in 2023, Mr. Peter Obi, has called on President Bola Tinubu to reintroduce himself to Nigerians over an alleged identity crisis. Obi made the call on Wednesday at a press conference in Abuja following the recent disclosure of Tinubu's academic records by Chicago State University. As the request of the People's Democratic Party presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, the former governor of Anambra, asked the president to tell Nigerians the school he attended if he participated in the one-year National Youth Service Corps scheme, and to clarify if he indeed changed his name at any time. Now, he noted that having occupied the highest political office in the country, Tinubu no longer has a right to any privacy regarding his identity. As they say, he is already politically exposed. Now, Obi also called on the president to save the country from what he called an international embarrassment of identity crisis of the first citizen in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That office is a very, very high and exalted office. Now, he says, and I quote, "Nigeria is an international laughingstock because of President Tinubu's identity crisis. We need to put an end to this embarrassment," he added. Obi's call comes after Atiku Abubakar released President Tinubu's academic records to the public last week. The records showed that Tinubu graduated from CSU in '79 with a Bachelor of Arts degree in accounting. However, Atiku has raised questions about the authenticity of Tinubu's certificate, alleging that it may have been forged. Now, during a press conference last week, Atiku called on Obi, Rabiu Kwankwanso, and other Nigerians to join his quest for justice over the matter. All right, let's watch the video and hear what Peter Obi said expressly.
Having followed a prolonged identity crisis that recently played out in American court system and the controversy surrounding the authenticity of the Chicago State University credentials of Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I must confess I'm distressed as a Nigerian. In addition to the barrage of media frenzy that the matter has triggered at home and abroad, I have had the unwholesome burden of responding to embarrassing questions about the Nigerian overall credibility as a nation to privileged audience and individuals both at home and abroad in different parts of the world I've traveled recently. To the outsiders, the entire Chicago University matter, as well as Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu's many other lingering identity question marks, have further worsened Nigerian less than glorious image internationally. Uninformed outsiders now see every Nigerian as a fraudster, certificate forger, or identity thief. The controversy is unnecessary, just as the implicit global embarrassment could have been avoided. In my opinion, Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu should have saved the nation and himself this protracted embarrassment and undue anxiety. Even in this late in the day, however, Chief Ahmed Bola Tinubu still owes the nation and the world a simple debt of obligation only he can discharge. I therefore respectfully and humbly call on him to immediately and personally mount the rostrum of his present high office to perform a simple task once and for all time. He should reintroduce himself to the nation he governs and to the world for avoidance of further doubt. He should let the world know his name, his nationality, his place of birth, his parentage, the primary and secondary school he attended with dates, as well as the actual universities he attended and certificates obtained. It should indicate clearly where and when he did his national youth service. In addition, if at any time he had a change of name, it should state so clearly and circumstance that his name itself is no crime. This is a simple task that will take only a few minutes. It requires no affidavit, prolonged court process, spokesperson, agents, or surrogates. The task is one that only Chief Bola Tinubu himself, through a direct personal statement, can perform. He must perform this task urgently in order to lay to rest, once and for the last time, the many lingering doubts and valid speculation about his true identity. A leader cannot outsource a clear, unambiguous personal statement about his identity to political surrogates, official spokespeople, lawyers, or any other person, no matter how highly placed. A matter of personal identity of a leader is too sensitive and central to the function of the office he currently occupies to be trifled with, outsourced, or disguised under the cloak of officialdom. It is about integrity, morality, values, and the rule of law that defines the character of a nation and its people. In his present capacity as a leader of a nation of over 200 million Nigerians, his true identity is a matter of grave national and international interest. The people deserve to know with certainty the true identity of their leader, and this overrides whatever rights he may have to personal privacy. In addition, the international community deserves to know the true identity of the person with whom they will engage on Nigeria. Having stood for an election of elevated office of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Chief Bola Tinubu have implicitly undertaken to cede the rights of private citizens in favor of life of open disclosure of his true identity and other circumstances that might be of public interest. His personal integrity demands no less. The legitimacy of the office he currently occupies demands that much and even more. Respect for the integrity and esteem of the Nigerian nation within the Committee of Nations makes it even more incumbent and compulsory. It is time to do the right thing.
All right, you've heard the statements from Mr. Peter Obi of the Labour Party, making it very express. And I'm sure whatever he has said has resonated with a lot of Nigerians. But there's a twist to this, and it has raised a lot of other criticisms. You be the judge. Now, an Igbo group under the aegis of Omalegwoku Progressive Initiative, OPI, Igbo Kwenu for Asiwaju Tinubu, has slammed the presidential candidate of the Labour Party LP in 2023 elections, Peter Obi, for disparaging President Bola Tinubu over alleged certificate forgery. Now, the Igbo group described Obi's call on Tinubu to disclose his real identity as a national insult to all the Nigerians who freely voted for the president. Now, responding to Obi, the global president of the Igbo group, Ginika Tor, said it was ironic for Obi to be asking for Tinubu, who had governed Lagos State for 8 years, to tell Nigerians the state he hails from. Tor said, and I quote, "I had already put up my speech, and suddenly I realized that my brother, whom I respect so much, Peter Obi, who is also the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, came up on TV to say that our president, a man that is a #1 man in this country, should come out and explain his state." She continues, and I quote, "So by now a man who served 8 years as governor, you don't know his state, should tell us his background educationally. Is that right? It's an insult to Nigerians as a nation for you to call out our president, who was massively supported, elected, confirmed, and validated as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to come and stand before who?" End of quote. She continues, and I quote, "So I'm disappointed in a man that I respected so much, my brother," talking about Peter Obi, "who stood in front to run for Igbos. We are telling our brother Obi, calm down. If God wanted you to be there, he would have made you the president. He did not. There is a lot of distractions on the president as we speak." Now, to further say that the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party in 2023 elections, Atiku Abubakar, was still suffering from a severe post-election loss trauma and a near presidency syndrome following his defeat at the polls in his 5th presidential contest. She said the group initially chose to refrain from making comments on the issue because it was before the court, but decided to debunk the lies being told by an Atiku, who should place patriotism and national interest above his ambition to be the #1 man in Nigeria. Now, according to her, to seek to impugn the character of Nigerians before the international community in the manner Peter Obi is going smacks of desperation. Now, she's not only calling Peter Obi desperate, she's also calling Atiku desperate. Let's hear her say it in her own words.
Suddenly, I realized and I watched my own brother that I respect so much, Peter Obi, who is also a presidential candidate for Labour Party. He came up to say that our president, a man that is the #1 man of this country, should come out and explain his state. So by now, a man who served 8 years as a governor, you don't know his state, should tell us his background educationally. Is that right?
No.
What am I trying to say here? It's an insult to Nigeria as a nation for you to call out our president, who was massively supported and elected and confirmed and validated as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to come and stand before who? To say he's from this state, from this country, from this region, from the locality. Does he owe us that?
No.
What president owe us now is to take us to our destination of choice.
Yes.
And
All right. There you have the rebuttal from the group Igbokwenu for Tinubu. And then a lot of questions begin to come up. Why do we suddenly have an Igbo group that is speaking against Peter Obi? Then a lot of people have asked questions. In spite of all these issues, why have we not heard from the #1 citizen of the Federal Republic whose oath of allegiance is to be accountable to the average citizen of the Federal Republic? A lot of people have also criticized that the use of too many spokespersons gets people confused. We elected somebody, and we expect that at certain times, optics or international perception. So the conversation continues back and forth and back and forth. Peter Obi has been accused of being desperate. Atiku, in his quest and going as far as the Chicago State University in America with his lawyers, have been called or has been labeled a serial loser who has developed a near presidency syndrome. That means a syndrome of, oh, I'm almost president for a 5th time. And that will be the 3rd responder that will call him that name. The publicity secretary of the APC was the first to call him a serial loser, one other person in between, and now we have that as we speak. The question then is, will this identity crisis and academic records issue go away? We've treated it in more than 4 or 5 series on this show, but it doesn't seem to be going away because of a lot of stakes, that are at stake, a lot of importance that has been put to it. All right, moving forward, we'll come back to that. Moving forward, let's quickly take another development. 18 parties jostle for 5.4 million votes in Kogi, Imo, and Bayelsa states, respectively. Now, the Independent National Electoral Commission says over 5.4 million voters registered would cast their ballots in November 11th governorship elections in Kogi, Imo, and Bayelsa states. Now, INEC National Commissioner and Chairman of its Information and Voter Education Committee, Sam Olumekun, made this known in a statement on Tuesday. Now, the commission held its regular meeting today, Tuesday, October 10, 2023. I'm quoting him now. And among other issues, reviewed preparations for the off-cycle governorship elections in Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi states. Now, for the forthcoming elections, there is 1,056,862 registered voters in Bayelsa State, 2,419,922 in Imo State, and 1,932,654 in Kogi State, respectively, making a combined total of 5,409,438 registered voters for the 3 states. Now, Olumekun said, this happened in 2021 reviews recent. He said soft copies of the complete register of voters for each state will be presented to the political parties participating in the election. He added, for emphasis, 16 political parties are sponsoring candidates in Bayelsa State, 17 in Imo, and all the 18 parties in Kogi State. Now, the state chairmen of the political parties or their designated representatives are invited to attend the event, which will take place at the collation centers in the state headquarters at the commission in Lokoja, in Owerri, and Yenagoa, respectively, on Thursday, October 12, 2023, at 10 a.m. So there you have it. Come 11th, there will be an off-cycle elections. And then the first set of questions that come to your mind is, one, is INEC ready? Because it's easy for INEC to come out and say, we are ready. But are they truly ready? Are the security agencies ready? And then there's this argument that is already on mainstream and social media. Why do we always have a huge size of security details? We had the police commissioner in Bayelsa saying a few hours ago, sometime around yesterday, saying that they're expecting 27,000 policemen in Bayelsa State. Why do we need as much as 27,000 policemen? Over militarization of our elections, will it not cause more voter apathy? A lot of questions to be answered on that issue. We'll go on a short break. Thereafter, we'll be right back for more developments. Join us again.
Business exists only to meet the needs of the people. But there's an extra advantage if your product and services are pitched on a platform that gives you the added advantage over your competitors. For your desired return on investment and so much more, advertise on Spectrum Television, on StarTimes DTH Channel 421 and on free-to-air with a frequency of 12733. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
All right, many thanks for staying tuned. If you're just tuned in, it's Political Spectrum on Spectrum Television, and we've been taking some of the developments. Now we move a little bit higher up the ladder, talking about an international issue that has erupted a few days ago, Israel-Hamas conflict. The ambassador, the Israeli ambassador to Nigeria has said Nigerians are safe, and the Prime Minister Netanyahu shares very gruesome details. Now, Israeli ambassador to Nigeria, Michael Freeman, has said Nigeria in the country, as well as citizens of other countries, are safe. Now, Israel is reeling under a deadly attack by the Hamas group, the Hamas militants, who stormed the border fence under barrage of rocket fire on Saturday morning and killed more than 900 people inside Israel. Now, in response, Israel is carrying out a massive air and artillery bombardment of Hamas targets in the Gaza Strip that has so far killed at least 687 people in the coastal enclave. Now, speaking at a press conference in Abuja on Tuesday, Mr. Freeman said Nigerians are safe, adding that the Israeli government will do everything to avoid casualties. But the civilians will get killed or may get killed, according to him. Now, we should be prepared for that. I'm quoting him now. He also described Saturday's attack by Hamas as the gravest kind of mishap that happened to Israel since the Holocaust. You know how many decades that has been. Now, describing the attack also, Freeman said Hamas is a terror group. Of course, Hamas has been proscribed as a terror group that wants to wipe out the Israelis, but said Israel will terminate every one of them. But meanwhile, while the ambassador has assured Nigerians that citizens in Israel are safe, the Prime Minister, as the #1 citizen of Israel, Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, has shared a new gruesome details of atrocities committed by Palestinian military group Hamas during its attack on the country. Now, in a national address on Wednesday, Netanyahu described Hamas operatives as savages and barbarians. Now, he went further to share gory details of the atrocities committed by the group. Now, Netanyahu said young boys and girls were handcuffed and shot in the head, and that some people were burned alive. Now, in the video of the president's address posted by I24 News on its X platform, formerly Twitter handle, with English translation, Netanyahu said, and I quote, "Citizens of Israel, this evening we formed a national emergency government. The people of Israel are united, and today its leadership is also united. We have set aside any other consideration because the fate of our country is at stake here. We are going to work shoulder to shoulder for the benefit of all Israelis. Now, for the benefit of the state of Israel. And I would like to say to you, dear citizens," I'm still quoting him now, "we've seen these savages, we've seen these barbarians, and we are dealing with it." Now, it's no longer news because a lot of videos have been circulating, even on social media, when you see Israelis living around the Gaza Strip that's occupied by both Israel and Palestine. You've seen them running away for their lives. Some are abandoning vehicles and running on their feet out of confusion. And it has been recorded that a lot of people have been killed. Now, nobody would say they are strange to the rivalry and the war and the hatred between Palestinians and Israelis over the decades, as far back as 1967, when we remember that the Israeli people initially left the physical place where they are occupying now, but started occupying it gradually by purchasing massive lands, and then suddenly they hoisted a flag, and as at that period, Palestinians just felt they sold them landed properties, but as soon as they hoisted a flag and pronounced the independent state of Israel, the war started. And ever since then, it has been hatred, between the both countries. And a lot, I could say hundreds of thousands of people have died since then till now. This is a fresh one that has come out. The Gaza Strip has been a major area of dispute. Whether the place has very, very precious resources, we do not know, but it has been a major part of the conflict between the Palestinian and the Israeli. And if you had read a few stories about the history of these people, the actual truth is that they are both the same. The Palestinians are seen as the Muslim Israeli or the Muslim Jew, and the Israelis are the ones that practice Judaism and Christianity. The only thing that has seemed to have separated them now is religion. So are we seeing any Are we seeing any respite? Are we seeing any relief from these two brothers who seem to have hated themselves for decades going into a century? Or is the situation going to get worse? All this, only time will tell. All right, moving to another development on the show. Abductors of 4 Nigerian university students in Nasarawa demand 20 million ransom. Now, very disturbing reports have reached us that the abductors of the 4 students of Nasarawa State University, KEFI, NSUK, have demanded the sum of 20 million as ransom for the release of the students. Now, recall that on this program, we had reported how some gunmen suspected to be terrorists kidnapped some students of the university. The gunmen invaded the students' residence at Sabongida, identified as Nazir Sabongida, and took away some female students of the school, whose number could not be ascertained, though the Students' Union government of the school said the abducted victims were not fewer than 30. A few hours later, the Nigerian army announced that it had rescued 6 of the students after a gun battle with the terrorists. Now, Wednesday, media had also reported that the abductors came in contact with the school authorities on Tuesday and demanded 20 million for the release of the abducted students. It was reported that a student union leader in the school confirmed that the kidnappers had reached out to the school authorities and demanded the sum of 20 million naira. Now, as unfortunate as this development will be, we await fresh developments on this matter as we wish the students safety above all things in the most trying time of their lives. It's never a good story when it comes to abductions and issues of security. All right, we'll go on a very short break. Thereafter, we'll be right back to have more conversations. Probably we'll throw open the phone lines for people who may have 1 or 2 opinions to share their opinions with us today. Stay tuned. Join us again.
Having followed a prolonged identity crisis that recently played out in the American court system and the controversy surrounding the authenticity of the Chicago State University credentials of Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I must confess I'm distressed as a Nigerian. In addition to the barrage of media frenzy that the matter has triggered at home and abroad, I have had the unwholesome burden of responding to embarrassing questions about the Nigerian overall credibility as a nation to privileged audience and individuals both at home and abroad in different parts of the world I've traveled recently. To the outsiders, the entire Chicago University matter, as well as Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu's many other lingering identity question marks, have further worsened Nigerian less than glorious image internationally. Uninformed outsiders now see every Nigerian as a fraudster, certificate forger, or identity thief. The controversy is unnecessary, just as the implicit global embarrassment could have been avoided. In my opinion, Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu should have saved the nation and himself this protracted embarrassment and undue anxiety. Even in this late in the day, however, Chief Ahmed Bola Tinubu still owes the nation and the world a simple debt of obligation only he can discharge. I therefore respectfully and humbly call on him to immediately and personally mount the rostrum of his present high office to perform a simple task once and for all time. He should reintroduce himself to the nation he governs and to the world for avoidance of further doubt. He should let the world know his name, his nationality, his place of birth, his parentage, the primary and secondary school he attended with dates, as well as the actual universities he attended and certificates obtained. It should indicate clearly where and when he did his national youth service. In addition, if at any time he had a change of name, it should state so clearly and circumstance that his name itself is no crime. This is a simple task that will take only a few minutes. It requires no affidavit, prolonged court process, spokesperson, agents, or surrogates. The task is one that only Chief Bola Tinubu himself, through a direct personal statement, can perform. He must perform this task urgently in order to lay to rest, once and for the last time, the many lingering doubts and valid speculation about his true identity. A leader cannot outsource a clear, unambiguous personal statement about his identity to political surrogates, official spokespeople, lawyers, or any other person, no matter how highly placed. A matter of personal identity of a leader is too sensitive and central to the function of the office he currently occupies to be trifled with, outsourced, or disguised under the cloak of officialdom. It is about integrity, morality, values, and the rule of law that defines the character of a nation and its people. In his present capacity as a leader of a nation of over 200 million Nigerians, his true identity is a matter of grave national and international interest. The people deserve to know with certainty the true identity of their leader, and this overrides whatever rights he may have to personal privacy. In addition, the international community deserves to know the true identity of the person with whom they will engage on Nigeria. Having stood for an election of elevated office of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Chief Bola Tinubu have implicitly undertaken to cede the rights of private citizens in favor of life of open disclosure of his true identity and other circumstances that might be of public interest. His personal integrity demands no less. The legitimacy of the office he currently occupies demands that much and even more. Respect for the integrity and esteem of the Nigerian nation within the Committee of Nations makes it even more incumbent and compulsory. It is time to do the right thing.
Every day marks a day of significance.
That in view of the apology tendered by this former minister who had earlier been cleared by this August Assembly,
as we face critical issues, developments and events which shape our social and political landscape here in Nigeria and beyond. Political Spectrum is a program specially designed to help make sense of all the moving parts of developments and occurrences in our nation's polity and political economy.
There is nothing wrong with Nigeria, but there's everything wrong.
The educational history of public figures holds significance beyond mere biographical details.
From executive, legislative and judicial developments at national and subnational levels to international diplomacy and relations.
Join us for exclusive interviews with key political figures, expert opinions, analysts, thought-provoking conversations for and against, shedding light on the major issues that matter. We will always keep you updated on the most factual, smartest and unbiased reportage.
Stay tuned to Political Spectrum. Political Spectrum. All sides matter at the round table. Political Spectrum. Exclusive to Spectrum Television.
All right, many thanks for staying tuned. If you're just tuned in, it's Political Spectrum on Spectrum Television. We know that for weeks or months now, Atiku has been hell-bent on not only proving to the world, the global community, that the first citizen of the Federal Republic, talking about the President, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, may have forged his certificates. And then, you know, there's been a lot of back and forth. It took Atiku, you know, and his legal aides to go to America to subpoena Chicago State University to release those records and every other issue that may be necessary to clear the president on the issue of whether he forged or not, or whether he even went to the school or not. And that has brought a lot of backlash, especially from people supporting the president. And the first argument is, one, the timing is wrong. Why were these things not brought during the presidential election petition court? It's a little too late, so they claim. And secondly, they said, even in the prayers during the PEPT, that Atiku's legal counsel only prayed on the issue of Tinubu not attending the school. So according to the arguments, it has been proven that Tinubu attended, especially by the deposition of the registrar of Chicago State University. And that has been put to rest, according to the supporters of Tinubu. But hey, Atiku's people are saying no, it is not put to rest, because if there is a case that has been established as to forgery of a certificate, it may also mean that he did not attend. So we've been having that back and forth. But can you see that even as far as that has gone, for the first time, Peter Obi now comes out to make a statement about it, and the weight even gets heavier. The weight gets heavier. And what Peter Obi is asking for is very simple. All he has said is, try to come clean. You are the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. If this has become an issue, come and address people, come and reintroduce yourself. Let's know where you even served in the issue of the NYSC. That has not been part of the issue now, but I'm sure by Peter Obi's comment or statement, that may begin to also generate some kind of momentum. Because in everything, we've not had a situation where his NYSC certificate or anything concerning his year of service or where he served has been, there's no way it has been in the front burner. So his comment has generated yet another very huge cloud over the issue. And remember, in the series we've had on these issues, we've said that will this certificate forgery and identity crisis go away anytime soon? It doesn't seem to be going away. Well, this party says this other party says that. And apart from Obi's comment, an Igbo group has come out to say, come, it's an insult for you to be asking someone who has been governor for 8 years and has served meritoriously according to them to come and reintroduce himself. It's an insult on those Nigerians who voted for Asiwaju. There's been a conversation with a popular politician also from Ogun State, Segun Sowunmi, who has come out to say that if you split all the votes according to political parties, that only 8 million out of almost 20-something million people voted for Tinubu. So does it now mean that the whole Nigerians, including those who didn't even vote, who are even more in number, will now be at the whims and caprices of what only 8 million people have decided? So the conversations continue back and forth and back and forth. And a lot of people have advised that at least at this point, we expect that the president should have a public response or a public statement to allay the fears, the uncertainties, the discomfort, the confusion of the average Nigerian, because it is within his purview and his responsibility to always do so. If you are serving Nigerians, it's expected that when it comes for you to speak, reduce the use of spokespersons and media aides. Let's hear from you directly. And we personally feel that is not too much to ask. When an issue around you or concerning you that is politically exposed, becomes something of some kind of crisis, it only behoves on you as a responsibility to come out and address that issue head on, to say, okay, categorically, this is this, and this is this, and this is this. And a lot of people are waiting to hear that, okay, at this point, the president wants to give a national speech to address the issues. More questions have come to the fore. What is the reputation? How is Nigeria seen in the global committee if there is an allegation of certificate forgery hanging over the head of the very #1 citizen who's supposed to be the #1 ambassador of the Nigerian values, cultures, and everything Nigeria? So we do not know if this will go away soon, but what we know is that there are chain reactions to it. Recall that Atiku called on the other presidential candidates who contested alongside him to join in so to speak, the quest or the fight, to save Nigeria, according to him, from national or international embarrassment and international disgrace. So much has been said about this. We continue to wait for fresh developments to see which twist or which turn or which direction this conversation around or surrounding the identity crisis or the identity confusion of the man occupying the office of the president, the first citizen of the Federal Republic. Now, we also took another development concerning off-cycle elections. A lot of people have always had issues with off-cycle elections. We expect Kogi, Imo, and Bayelsa states to be having the very, 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 very election on I think November or thereabout. And then a lot of issues have also come to fore. First of all, the 3 states are not settled. In Bayelsa, there are issues with the APC and who is going to represent them. Recall that Justice Okorowo has just announced that Timipre Silva may not be constitutionally qualified to run under the umbrella of the All Progressives Congress, the APC. And immediately following, the present national chairman has also said it clearly that there may be some kind of discrepancies in that judgment and the party does not take it well, and that they will appeal almost immediately. You know, he cited his reasons. That comment was said when he visited the president in Aso Villa. So there are issues in Bayelsa, especially in the APC, and the PDP, ably headed by their governorship candidate, Governor Duyodiri, is celebrating and mocking the party and saying, okay, since you guys have not put your house in order, I think this is going to be a smooth ride for me. That's that about Bayelsa State. In Imo, of course, you know that the state has been divided into fragments, not even two major pieces, over the leadership style of the governor, Hope Uzodinma, who a lot of people feel he does not deserve to come a second term. While Hope and his team are saying we've done excellently, we have moved off some kind of paradigm shift away from the immediate past governor of Imo. We've done this and we deserve a second term. And apart from that, there's been a lot of crisis in Imo, especially the issue of sectarian violence and you know, a lot of killings, a lot of kidnappings, a lot of that has been in Imo. So a lot of people are saying, okay, this man doesn't have, you know, the right, the moral right to come back. So a lot of things will be happening in Imo come November the 11th on the day of the election. And it's not also ended. In Kogi State too, there are a lot of crises, you know, between the PDP and the APC. Even within the APC itself, there are crises because there is someone, Governor Yaya Bello is projecting to succeed him. And, you know, even within the party, a lot of people have issues with that. And then the opposition also have been crying foul that the governor will the governor allow a free and fair election. Those questions will be answered on the day of election. So we have three major off-cycle elections. That of Edo will be coming next year, November, hopefully about a year or a year and a few months from now. But all eyes are on Imo, Kogi, and Bayelsa come November 11th as they choose the next person who is going to be leading the affairs of the respective states. So that's that about the apathy in the general elections. We also have voter apathy in off-cycle elections. What may be the causes? Some people have argued vehemently that over-militarization of our elections may be one major factor. Over-militarization of our elections may be one major factor. We heard the Bayelsa Commissioner of Police saying that he is going to approve the deployment of 27,000 policemen. The question is, do we need 27,000 policemen for Bayelsa that is only 7 or 8 local government areas and have a voter population of probably slightly above 2 million or even less? Do we need all that? Will this cast fear and doubts in the mind of people as to their safety, you know, to come out and vote? Then another question comes to mind is, are the political parties, the respective political parties who are actually the engines of social growth and deepening democracy within the regions, are they actually playing the roles of giving orientation to the members of the public enough as to explaining the major values and the importance of coming out to exercise your franchise and your... Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you doing?
I'm very fine. This is Moses calling from Yobe State.
Oh, Moses, you're welcome on the show.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right, you've been following the development so far. What will be your comment? Please go on.
Please, thank you very much. I've been following this issue, and what comes on my mind is it's a serious issue, and I don't know why our leaders are not taking it serious. In fact, the issue I will be that I said yesterday that our president should come and address us is good, because this is the issue of educational matters. And as far as education is concerned, You all have papers, I have documents, and if there are some discrepancy in my documents, I don't think everybody will accept it anyway. So
Okay.
somebody is having a document that are having some errors, and our leaders are just looking at it. Somebody will say he don't understand, no concern. The thing I think you have to concern everybody, and as I will be saying yesterday, it's good for our president should tell us exactly what happened. I want to give another instance when issue of Mesoma first result for JAM. Everybody was concerned about it, even the National Assembly. So this one, I don't know why people are just saying they don't understand, no concern. You have document, I have document. And if there are errors inside, I don't think everybody will bear it. So my contribution is this thing is a concern as far as education is concerned. Politicians and judiciary should not spoil education. If we allow politicians and judiciary, this is how they will spoil education. Education will not be valid again. People will think they can do anything and they can go free. So this thing is a serious issue. I'm calling on them to take it serious, just like our brother said yesterday. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you for your contribution. But before you run away, I'd like to ask you a question.